The second story is that of two gardeners. And this is a story of two Muslim gardeners from the indication of Quran. And one of them, Allah describes, he has incredible properties adjacent to each other, two gardens, but they're not exactly adjacent to each other. He's got a garden, then a farm, and then a garden. Okay? And so the two gardens are connected, and between them, خِلَالَهُمَا نَهْرًا. Okay? And through them a river is running. In other words, now he's got not only three properties, he's got water running through the whole property. He doesn't have to bring water. Bringing water to the farm is a major expense. And it's a lot of labor. You have to send people to the well, send people to the river, send people to the lake, draw the water. And it's a lot of water. So you have to take your animals with you. So you have to own animals. Then you have to load the animals. Then you have to bring the animals back and feed the animals because they get tired. Then you have to deliver the water. It's a lot of labor. It's a lot of expense. But this guy saves all that money because where's the river? In the middle. It's running through. And he never runs out of water because it's not a lake, it's a river. It's just constant supply. So Allah describes in a nutshell that his produce, his wealth in the farm was such that he says, آتت أكلها ولم تظلم منه شيئا. That it would produce everything worthy of eating. Imagine a tree and every apple is good. There's not a single apple that a little worm got into or it's a little premature. Every one of them is worthy of eating. Ukulaha. Not thamaraha. Ukulaha. And not one of them falls before it should fall. And sometimes it happens, your apple falls in the other guy's property. So not your apple, it fell on the other guy's property. لَمْ تَظْلِمْ مِنْهُ شَيْئًا. It doesn't shortchange him in any way, shape, or form. He's got 100% productivity out of this farm. That's what Allah describes. Allah went out of His way to describe how many conveniences this man had in his farm and security measures he had, etc. But I told you it's a story about how many farmers? Two of them. One gardener farmer and his neighbor. But the neighbor, Allah mentions none of his property. Nothing is mentioned. What does he own? How many trees does he have? Does he have a garden? Nothing. Nothing. Basically, this is, al-lahdhu asdaqu isharatan min al-lafz. They say in the Arabic language, for example, رُبَّ سُكُوتٍ أَبْلَغُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ. Sometimes you don't say something, it says a lot more than when you say something. Right? So Allah not mentioning it is like saying his property is not even worth mentioning. That's how little or insignificant he has. But then the one who doesn't have any, they're neighbors with each other. And you notice that the guy who's wealthy, he talks to him, they talk to each other, but in the middle of conversation, he likes to slip in that he's doing pretty good. Life is good, man. This year we made quite a bit. And I had to get extra employees too. By the way, how's it going with you? And he knows that he has a bad problem. The water doesn't come to his farm and he's not doing well, but he brings it up indirectly that, look, I'm doing a lot better and you're pretty pathetic. You know how we do this? We do this at men tend not to do this as much, even though Allah mentioned a couple of places in Quran where people do this, showing off wealth indirectly. Not directly, indirectly. And that's why Allah says, وَهُوَ يُحَاوِرُهُ أَنَا أَكْثَرُ مِنْ كَمَالٍ. In the middle of conversation, somehow he gets the point across that I have more money than you do, by the way. I got more people, I got more back than you do. You can have ladies at a party and some aunties going off saying, our wedding, we had to get 2 extra caterers. We couldn't even fit all the guests in this hall. We had to get a bigger hall, that one's $20,000. And on top of that is $25, $28 per plate. Can you imagine? But you have to do, we love our daughter. And she's talking to some other lady next to her who's got 5 daughters and none of them are married and they work minimum wage and they can't even think about and then she's rubbing it in. And she said, no, I'm saying mashallah, mashallah, And this poor lady is being tortured by these words at some wedding. Oh, so when are your daughters getting married? We do these things, and that's why Quran mentions them. So anyway, what Allah does, the poor farmer, he got hurt by the words, and he just said, maybe Allah will take this away from you. You talk like this, you hurt my feelings, maybe Allah will. You never know. Allah has given you this. You should be grateful to Allah, And maybe Allah, and just the words of a mazloom, right? The words of someone whose feelings are hurt. Allah, how seriously He takes those words. That very night, There's actually, Allah sends a ta'ifa, a group of angels that come and they descend, and the husbana min as-sama descends on him. This destruction falls from the sky. By the morning when he wakes up, garden is gone, completely gone. It's completely wholly wrecked. And the last words in the story are Ya laytani lam ushrik bi rabbi ahada. Like if only I hadn't done shirk. And that's strange because he didn't say I worship. The previous story was about shirk, remember? What did they worship? The Greek gods. This story, they didn't do any shirk. He didn't do any shirk. He just said, I got more money than you do. I don't think this is ever going to come to an end. Allah loves me too much. What was his shirk? His shirk was his reliance on material. He thought this is it. This doesn't come from Allah. They can't go anywhere. I have a good business plan. I have a river running in between. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? As though this has abadiyah. This is forever. When you say this is forever, you've taken that away from Allah. Only Allah is forever. So when you even have that thought, now we're learning in these ayat that not only words are shirk, thoughts are also shirk. You can have shirk in your thoughts and not just in your words. So anyway, Allah destroys his garden, he learns his lesson. That's your second story.